So the question is, are you feeling successful but still feeling empty? There is a pillar you might be missing. So let's talk about spiritual prosperity. You see, when the storms of life hit, what keeps you standing? It's not your bank account. It's your root system. Today, we are going deep. Yesterday, on the night before, there was an earthquake. And it was 3.7. It wasn't a big earthquake, but people felt it all over the place. My daughter told me it woke her up. I didn't feel it. I don't think my friend felt it, but yet they said it didn't break anything. She said she just saw the pictures moving on her wall. So, yes, that was a storm. That was a hit. Okay, so what kept that house standing? It wasn't the bank account. It was the foundation, the root system. What kept the trees from not crashing? Their roots were strong. Whereas if their roots were dry and weak, and a 3.7 earthquake hit, they would shatter, they would fall, and they would cause devastations for many people and many families. So that's why we have to remember and ask ourselves this question. Are you feeling successful but still feeling empty? Ask yourself that question. There is a pillar you might be missing. Let's talk about spirituality. And again, I need to give you the definition of spirituality. It is not a religion, a dogma, a practice of faith linked to a religion. It is how you see yourself, others, and the whole big world. That is your spiritual pillar. If you see yourself as successful, grateful, appreciative, caring, and you avoid comparison, that is where you should be. So if you feel, I am so successful, you say, but something is missing, well, check your pillars, see where you feel and where you are with that pillar. It's always the feeling that we have that makes the difference to our life. A long, long time will have passed when someone would have said something horrible to you. You might forget the exact words, but you will never forget the feeling it gave you. So that works both ways. It's the feeling that matters. You are feeling successful, but you're still feeling empty, like, what happened here? And that's why you need to check your spiritual prosperity. Although you are successful, and in your back of your mind, I need more to be successful, more money. And yet, you look out your window and you criticize the entire world. You criticize others that you don't know. You criticize and say things about people you have never met. How do you expect to really feel successful if you're always on the negative? If you're always sending out words that are not amazing, not exquisite, and certainly not impeccable about the world and its inhabitants? We need to realize that, because when the storms of life hit, what keeps you standing? It's certainly not the money you have in your bank. It's not the money in your bank account. It's your root system, your foundation. So today we are going deep. Your root system is your belief that I am okay and you're okay. That's so cliche. That's a phrase they use, and a lot of people just think it's a joke, right? When you say, I am okay, you're okay, and no, mean it. When you are tempted to criticize another human being, stop and say, they're okay. I am okay. Do your thing. get going and do what it is you desire to do. It's the encouragement, that one little word that tells that person, hey, I'm okay, and you are okay. And that's what matters. So that's where spirituality lies. It's not following a religion, not thumping on the Quran, the Bible, and the Torah, and any of the other papers, the Sanskrit papers, whatever. It's not digging deep into the Bible to be able to condemn others or any of the other religion. It is digging deep into yourself to stop condemning yourself. You cannot expect to get fruits that you enjoy and it feels good if all these seeds you're planting every minute of the day is really a humbug. You see the worst in the entire world, but there is so much more to see. There is tons and tons of things. Get up in the morning and realize the beauty before you. I know it is a horrendous snowstorm, cold and icy. But as I said before, without that, the farmers cannot plant. Without that, we cannot get the foods we want. And even if we curse and get angry about the snow, is that going to make that ice and snow and cold disappear? I have a friend I speak to about 40 times a day. And I always say to her, I have to put so much clothes on to feel warm. It's not that the heat isn't there. It's just that it is that type of time we are going through. So I might have 2 pairs of track pants on, 2 sweaters, and my nose is cold. But I make sure I do not criticize this thing. The man that has a truck with this thing in front of it and scratched his head in November and said, I wonder what kind of winter we will have, whether I will be able to get work so that I can feed my family. And all he can do is watch. And for him, the snow is financial freedom. It's emotional freedom. It's, thank God it's snow. And that is why we have to remember spirituality is the root. It is just the root system. God has a plan for prosperity for you. God has your prosperity plan. But are you quiet enough to hear it? So you have been so successful, you're making all this money. And you have all this money. But you're not quiet enough to hear it. You're not. God has a plan for your prosperity. The universe has a plan for your prosperity. Divine timing is waiting for you to be quiet enough to hear the plan. And when you hear it, do not call it frou-frou and walk away and think, you know what, this is not, no. Yes, it is. Yes. So we have to learn to listen, to hear what God is saying, the universe is saying, and when divine timing has touched you, sit still and know that I am here. Sit still. That is hard to do. Spirituality means there are times you choose to observe, smile, and walk away. You have the opportunity to listen. And it's not only listening for divine timing. I always remind my friends that our children and grandchildren, they too have a story. And we can learn from them. When people talk about my followers on TikTok, the Gen Zs and the younger 18 to 34, a little bit of them are now in the 40s, I listen when they talk. I observe what they do. And I think it is great that they can do that. And I hear and I get advice. I ask question, and no, Tessa-Marie, this is not how you do it. This is how you do it. So do not dismiss people. Spiritual prosperity means an acceptance of all that is. We cannot fight what is by thinking, deciding it's not good enough. We'll throw it off the window. It's not going anywhere. So spiritual prosperity, which is our root system, teaches us to accept the things we cannot change. And that is the prayer that I like. The serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amazing prayer. Grant me. It's not asking a God. It's not asking a religion. It's a serenity prayer. It's not associated with anybody's religion. It's free for you to use. Spirituality is accepting what it is. And if you desire to change it, then it's all up to you, not to the person who has had 100 years of experience that tells you you should change how you are doing this. You will never hear me saying that to anybody I coach or I listen to or when I do a seminar. All I say to you is that grant me the serenity to accept what I cannot change. Surrender. Let it go. The courage to change what I can and the wisdom to know the difference. The word change is important in spirituality. You want to change you? Then you change you. You cannot stay on the sidewalk and look at me in my home, in my body, and say, you should change this. That's none of your business. That is control. And when you aim to control others, you lose focus on your side. If I were you and they ask a question, that's what you say. If I were you, and always remember that when you were them or you had that situation, you reacted a lot differently. But along the way, you learned that you needed to stop resisting what you cannot change and let it unfold in the way it is supposed to fold. That is the power of the pillar of spirituality. You know, last week, when we talked about the pillar of spirituality, we spoke about resilience, holding on, making sure we just hold on. We call it the invisible support. When the others' pillars feel shaky, and they do feel shaky, the spiritual pillar is the one that holds everything up. Is that inner knowing that you are never alone, and yes, it will be okay. And yes, it's darkest before dawn, but dawn is on its way. That's spirituality that keeps you that way. You just know it's going to change. It must. The seasons change. We are in the middle of winter. 6 weeks ago, we were still in autumn, fall. And then 6 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now, we'll be in spring. So it does change. So just the stillness of acceptance for your spirituality gives you more power. You feel better because if you have the job of your life, the income of your life, everything is working. You have money over there and over here. And all little worldly possessions that you ever want to have, you've got this. And yet, you still feel empty. If that is what's going on, Tessa-Marie, I went to university. I got the job I love. I'm making the pay that I love. But I just feel like it's not enough. Not enough. It's not because any more money, any more bigger title at work is going to make you feel full and satisfied and joyful. Look at how you react to the pillar of spiritual prosperity. Look at how you treat yourself, because it starts in the home. And your home is you. Look at how you treat you. The way you treat you is the way you're going to treat the world, meaning each and every person you interact with. It's just simple this. That's just how it works. And if you have come to the conclusion and you're wise enough to embrace the serenity prayer and use it as a compass of how to behave, it will be a lot better for you. And then you can sit and say, what it is am I doing spiritually that is affecting me and keeping me full? I am never satiated. I am always wanting more money, more wealth, more possessions, more this, more that. What is in my behavior spiritually that's blocking me? You are your spiritual block by your behavior, your thoughts, and what you think, and how you using your five senses and working others to the bone because of how you look at them. You cross-eye, you purse your lips, you use words that are not exquisite, impeccable to describe people you don't know. But you've got your possessions. And people read the Bible, the Christian, the Torah, the Quran. All of these, they're there. He who is without sin cast the first stone. When you're criticizing another person, look around and see if you have glass windows. It boomerangs, So if you have glass windows and you criticize and you send negative aim at somebody, when it boomerangs, which window is it going to crash? You have glass windows. Smile and let them go. Sometimes we get so, native with just criticizing people. We get taken up in that storm. The world, although we are having this winter weather, the world is in a storm right now. And each one of us is going to feel it in some way or the other. But we have a choice. We can absorb so much of the world that we do not allow ourselves to absorb our own self. You become the change you want, said Mahatma Gandhi. You do it, said Martin Luther King. You do it, said Nelson Mandela. And then Theodore Roosevelt told us, it's not the critic that counts. It's the person that's doing the work that matters. They might look like they have fallen, their knees are bruised, they have tattered garments, they're sweating, they're covered in mud and dirt. And unless you've sat in their shoes, you're in no position, or you should not be in any position to criticize them, because what you're doing inadvertently is criticizing you. You stay away. Let them go. Leave them alone. Concentrate on your spirituality. Concentrate on how you feel, because it's the feeling you love that you have to capture. When last you have all these possessions? When last you walked through your house and you were grateful for a beautiful table? Were you grateful for that one small thing? Saying it, I'm so grateful for all I have. It's not that. Talk to your surroundings. Thank you, house, for sheltering me. Thank you, phone, for working. Just saying those things keep us away from saying the opposite and just thinking we are not good enough. I don't have enough possessions. This person isn't doing what I want. You cannot force them to function. You can only control your behavior. Do not get angry. It's not going to work. But when you get the opportunity, remember to speak your truth. Speak your truth to people. Do not hide behind, I do not, I don't want, no. You just gave up your independence. You just gave up what was fought for you. You have a right to speak. But there is a time you have to shut up. You know when you don't shut up? Is when you have a plan, you go and you say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm working on this, I'm buying this, I'm going to become this. Hey, people, stop doing this. Because there is always going to be the naysayer that's going to remind you, I thought you said you were going to do this. It just makes you feel bad. So there is a time to speak your truth. And you can always wait. Spirituality teaches you to sit, ponder. And it's not the same day that your mom dies that you cry. You cry for years later at different times, you see. So you do not have to fight the battle now. You can walk away and live to fight another day more intelligently, more purposely, with tact and grace. Spirituality gives you a choice to enjoy you. So, the biggest question of all is, are you feeling that you're extremely successful and yet you're feeling empty? If that is you, check your spiritual level, how you feel about you, how you feel about others, how you feel about the world. Watch what you're doing with that. If you are tied in the negative root of criticism of others and yourself and the whole big world, how can you feel as successful as you really are? Think about that. We have to look at what happens when the storms of life hit. What keeps you standing? It's not your bank account that keeps you standing. It is your root system. It is your spirituality. It is what you believe of yourself and others. And your belief is they will be okay. How many of us have had children that sometimes we almost give up on them? And then years later, they turn out to be okay. So you see, God has a plan for your prosperity, but you have to be quiet enough to hear the words. So that's why you take time in stillness and silence. Yesterday we talked about all of the minutes we have. So this morning I'm saying sit in stillness and silence and wait to hear what your plan for today is. Ask God, what would you have me do today? Where would you have me go? And what would you have me say and to whom? 4 simple questions. That doesn't mean you quit your job, because that question is in exactly where you're going today. If you ask that question and you hit that wall that day, today, and I cannot, I have to. There's your opportunity. So you have to choose. You're driving and there is no way you're going to pass through. There's an accident or something. Where would you have me go? So you go where you can get to where you have to go. When you get there, and what am I going to say? And to whom? There you go. So Spiritual prosperity is the alignment of your daily actions with your divine purpose. It's moving from why is this happening to me to what is this teaching me. When you are spirituality prosperous, you have a wealth that the world can give and the world can take away. So bless your intuition and your connection to the divine, to the infinite, to God, to the universe. Because you see, you have to believe that spiritual prosperity is the alignment of the daily actions with your divine purpose. And you have to know. So when the other pillars feel shaky, spiritual pillar is the one that holds the others and tells you everything is going to be okay. But you have to have a relationship with that pillar. Not every Sunday that you just say, on Sunday I'm going to go to church. Then you have a relationship with the building, with the pastor, with the people there, with what you hear. It suits you. It doesn't frighten you. What about you sit in stillness and silence, in meditation, and you come across an energy that makes you feel so much better? And you find your own answer to what it is you're seeking. So there are things you must say. I have an affirmation I use, and I say, I am divinely guided. I walk in faith and I live in grace. Each one of us are divinely guided. Each one of us can walk in the faith that we are okay and we will succeed even when the storms of life are hitting us. And do it with grace, not anger. Not anger. So you see, our spiritual prosperity is our anchor, it's our route for us to navigate the other pillars because they get shaky. Finances get shaky, especially this month. Overspending at Christmas. What is going to say, you know what, I'll get to it. Somehow, somewhere, I'll pay this off. Is your faith. Is the belief that you'll find a way. And there is always a way. Always a way. And that's what our faith teaches us. It's not anything else. Spirituality is believing that I can do it. I got what it takes. I have Michael Jordan level talent. Say that to yourself when the storms of life are just slapping you left, right, and center. You stop and you say, I have Michael Jordan level talents in this field and I can sort it out. And sort it out you will. But it's truly, truly up to you to choose that way or give up. And we cannot give up. Our life is too important. Our legacy of behavior is just, there's no price for it. I didn't say your financial legacy. It's just you, what you're left behind. When somebody thinks of you and you say, you know what? It's one thing I adore about my mom is that she never ever gave up. She always was doing something to stimulate others. Anything. Or she had so much grace and dignity. Or she was that type of woman that was a pillar of strength in a 5'2" body. My mom. We quote her, remember that. What would mommy say? What would she always made us laugh when with the things she would come up with. But her faith was unshakable. It will be okay. Just do your